Hello, I am Emma from Sweden, and this is practice for the last class. So I'm going to be speaking about everything changes in relation to the ego and the identities we create. So we live in this world that is always changing. The forces of nature are pulling us and pushing us both on the external and everything in this world and the internal self-being. Our intellect is trying to find some stability and make sense of this by creating sometimes, or all of them, false identities. And this can restrict what we are capable of experiencing in this world. So, for example, if I am in a situation where I am challenged to do something that is hard, for example, Warrior 3 in a yoga class. Maybe I have the identity that I've created for myself that I am weak, that I cannot do hard, challenging balance poses because I have weak hips. And this in itself limits what I would do on the yoga mat. And perhaps that's not actually true. But if I always would put my foot down for extra stability, then this will reduce the practice. I won't be stronger and I won't try. So I am limiting what I experience and how I can express myself. For example, if I never do one balance acts and poses, then I might not get closer to doing the hard poses and fully expressing my will and my knowledge and my ability to move my body. And what is happening is that I am challenged and I'm pulled or pushed into a situation. I have my reaction, my thoughts, my vrittis, they just make a big reaction. And to balance this push and this pull, I can try to focus my attention, and that will still the vrittis, that will make it easier for me to go into that sattvic state where it's easier to do things without being pushed and pulled. And to still the vrittis, we can use mantras, and we can use focusing our and harnessing our focus on one thing. So today we are going to use the phrase everything changes, both speaking about everything that is changing in the world and also that we are able to change. We don't have to accept the identity and maybe challenge ourselves to change it up a little bit. Could be very useful. So we're trying to not get stuck, and we are trying to also not being pulled into changing. But this creates a lot of effort. But to keep this in mind, in today's yoga class we are focusing on the mantra everything changes. And this is a class that's about the hips. So let's come into child's pose to begin. So put your focus to your hips. And now they are well rested and they have great potential.
And they can get stronger and change. Enjoy one more breath. Noticing how it's moving your body just by breathing. Come to all fours. Shoulders above your hands, hips above your knees, tuck your toes. Inhale, look to the ceiling, arch your back. Exhale, look to your navel, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Straighten your legs and come into a plank. Bend your knees and push your butt to the ceiling. Enjoy 2 more breaths. You can shift your hips a little side to side, putting your attention to the possibilities of change. Come forward to plank. Bend your knees. Come into down dog. Forward to plank. Bend your knees, exhale, up to down dog. Bend and come forward to plank. Bend your knees for down dog, exhale. Your right heel searches for the sky. Squeeze your butt, push away. Everything changes. Bend your knee. Place your foot between your hands. Push down into your heel. To come up to high lunge. Push your heel into the ground. Feel the connection from your heel to your butt. Everything changes. One more inhale. And then place your left heel on the ground for warrior 2. Stay in this position. Place your right elbow on your right thigh for and then retract your scapula, place your hand towards the sky. Feel the connection between your heel and your butt, your hip muscles. You can look towards the sky for one more round of inhale, exhale. Now look down towards the ground. Place your left hand on your hip, the right hand on a diagonal in front of your right foot, and then find a straight leg, press up into Chandrasana. Push your heel into the ground to feel your right glute engage. Now squeeze your left glute a little bit more. Everything changes. See if you can straighten through the standing leg. Maybe
you find a little bit more stability. And then place your left foot next to the right, hands on the ground. Come into plank. Lower down to chaturanga. Cobra, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Staying here for 2 more breaths. Then push your left heel towards the sky. Squeeze your glute. Get lighter on the hands. Everything changes. Now place your left foot between your hands and push through your heel until you feel your glutes engage and come into high lunge. Everything changes. Possibilities are endless. Put your heel on the ground on the right side. Hands for warrior 2. Push your left heel into the ground until you feel your glutes engage. Now place your left elbow on your left thigh, right hand towards the sky. Now look down to the ground. Place your right hand on your right hip. With your left fingers, touch the ground on a diagonal in front of you. And come into Chandrasana. Lift your right leg towards the sky. Open at the hips. Find the engagement of your glutes, both on the top leg and the standing leg. Push your heel into the ground. Find your left glute engagement. Open up your chest. Everything changes. Maybe you find a little bit more stability if you really straighten through the right leg and your glute engagements. You can straighten your standing leg and get lighter on your fingertips. Fingertips on the ground, right foot towards the ground. Come into plank. Lower down through chaturanga. Cobra, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Place your right foot towards the sky and place it in between your hands. From this position, push up to high lunge. Keep your body weight on the front leg. Try to get stable on one leg. Lift the left leg from the ground and come into warrior 3. Focus on your right heel, your glute engagements. Find that stability. Lean your upper body a little bit more towards the ground. I know it's heavy, but everything changes. And through change, we find freedom. We find new ways to express our body.
Place your left foot back on the ground. Come into high lunge. Place your hands on the ground. Plank position to chaturanga. Cobra inhale. Exhale to down dog. Notice how it feels in the right and the left hip right now. Then take your left foot towards the sky. Bring it forward in between your hands. Find your left heel and the engagement with your glute. Rise up to high lunge. Keep your body weight and your balance on the front foot. So try to peel the right foot off the ground until it lifts. Finding your left glute for stability. Lean forward into warrior three. Everything changes. But for change to happen, we need to free ourselves from limiting beliefs, limiting thought patterns and identities. And place the right foot down on the ground. Raise back up to high lunge. Hands meet the floor in a plank. Lower down to chaturanga. Cobra on inhale. Exhale to down dog. Notice your right and left hip. Step towards your hands. Bend your knees and come all the way to your back. Feet up in the air. Peace fingers around your big toes. Bend your knees for happy baby. Push against yourself, so retract the scapulas, find your shoulder muscles. The feet push towards the sky to find some glute engagement. So isometrically contract, then relax and notice how you feel. Then release your feet, cross your ankles, roll up to sitting. Take a comfortable seat. Breathe in, lift your shoulder blades, roll them back behind you. Reflect upon your experience. Notice if you were challenged by the postures and your tendency and your ability to stay even though it was hard. To create change or to resist change, everything takes effort. And it is this effort that brings us closer to the sattvic state where we are not being pushed and pulled by the rajas, tamas. We're not reacting to the vrittis. And we can find
some stillness and work our way towards our goals. So thank you for listening to this and practicing with me, and I hope you bring some of these thoughts into your everyday life. Where are you being pulled? And are you resisting? Are you placing some restriction on your being by having rigid thoughts about how things are supposed to be done and what can be done? Is there anything you should release the idea of? Notice the push and the pulls. Remember that everything changes and the potential of the change. Thank you for today.